Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm going to do another classic rock reaction. This is a recommendation sent to me by a subscriber. Thanks very much, Kinosh, K-I-N-O-C-H, or Kinoch. This is the Band of Joy, and they are doing a cover of Jimi Hendrix' Hey Joe. So I'm really looking forward to this, man. It's early John Bonham, early Robert Plant stuff. So that'll be cool. Let's check this out, man. Hey Joe. Band of Joy. Let's get it. This is so soulful, passionate.
What you say? I'm going way down south, way down Mexico way. Listen to me, girl, I gotta keep running away.
really like this extended version.
Watch out now.
Okay, man. That was Hey Joe from the Band of Joy. A really young Robert Plant at the helm singing. Man, yo. Some people come into this world already with the talent intact. They just need to be pointed in the right direction and get out of the way. Yo, man. So this, he had to have been, so if this was pre-Zeppelin, we're going back to him being 17 or 18, man. Holy cow. Same with John Bonham. Now, it's no surprise to me that in this song, the standouts were definitely the vocals and the drums. No surprise, man. Holy cow. I love it. It's extended too. I mean, you know, I think the Jimi Hendrix version of the song is maybe under 3 minutes at the most. And this one was more closer to 5. So excellent. Really, really good. Holy cow. Yo. What can I say about it? The vocals definitely is the prominent standout in this song, man. Robert Plant just belting it out. And when you have a singer like that, and then you add great musicianship to it, yeah, definitely, you know, they're just kind of catapulted up higher. But one thing about him that I've noted in my mind is that he doesn't need the accompaniment of a lot of musicianship and a lot of instrumentation to make him shine, to give him that boost, that shine. He standing by himself alone is enough. That's not the case, excuse me. That's not the case with a lot of singers out there. They really need the accompaniment of backing vocals, great musicianship, all of these things to make them something, to make them great, which is fine, you know, I mean, that's just your limitation. But this guy, man, doesn't need any of that to be great. When you add more great instrumentation behind him, especially, was it in, yeah, it was You Shook Me, when they had the organ added to it. Oh my God, that blew my head right off. And Since I've Been Loving You Again, they added great instrumentation, and then John Paul Jones came in behind him with the organ. Oh man. Definitely, yeah, I like the term a lot of you used to describe Plant as the golden god. When you add instrumentation like the organ behind his vocals, yo, that elevates him to god status for sure, man. Yeah, so the standout overall, man, are definitely his vocals in this song. So let me just get to a little bit of Wikipedia here about the Band of Joy, man, and get some background on this. Yeah, okay. So Band of Joy, here we go. So the Band of Joy, sometimes known as Robert Plant and the Band of Joy, are a rock band from England. Various lineups of the group performed from 65 to 68 and from 77 to 83. Robert Plant revived the band's name in 2010 for a concert tour of North America and Europe. The band is notable for including 3 musicians, Robert Plant and John Bonham, who went on to join Led Zeppelin, and the band's one-time roadie, Noddy Holder, who later went on to form the band Slade. Okay. I remember Slade. Run, Run Away, I think, was their big hit. So, Band of Joy was originally formed in 1966 in West Bromwich near Birmingham by Chris Brown on keyboards, Vernon Pereire on guitar, and singer Robert Plant. Conflicts with the band's management led to Plant leaving the group after a few months. He quickly tried to form his own Band of Joy, but it soon folded. A third incarnation of the band, including Plant's friend John Bonham. They had met only 2 years earlier in late 1965 when Bonham joined the Crawling King Snakes and lasted from 67 to mid-68. This lineup included Kevin Gammon on guitar and Paul Lockey on bass. Their brand of soul and blues was popular with Birmingham mods. This lineup recorded a number of demo recordings in early 1968, but broke up in May 1968 when a recording contract failed to materialize. Okay. Yeah, good timing for all of that, man. Setting the stage. Albeit briefly, lead guitar duties were taken by Dave Pegg, who later played the bass guitar with Fairport Convention and Jethro Tull. Pegg rehearsed with Band of Joy, but did not tour with them. For a 1968 tour of Scotland, Plant and Bonham co-opted bassist John Hill, ex-Uncle Joseph, and guitarist Mick Strode to fill in a temporary lineup. In 2010, it was announced that Plant would form a new band, record an album, and tour as Robert Plant and the Band of Joy. The album was number 8 on Rolling Stone's list of the 30 best albums of 2010. In October 2010, the band appeared alongside the London Oriana Choir at the Roundhouse, London, for a special performance at the BBC Radio 2 Electric Proms. Okay, so that's band info, formation of the song. Hey Joe was written by a singer named Billy Roberts, who was part of the Greenwich Village folk scene in the early 60s. The song is structured as a conversation between two men, with Joe explaining to the other that he caught his woman cheating and plans to kill her. They talk again, and Joe explains that he did indeed shoot her and is headed to Mexico. Billy Roberts copyrighted this song in '62, but never released it. In '66, several artists covered the song, including a Los Angeles band called The Leaves. Their lead singer was bassist John Pons, who joined the Turtles just after they recorded their Happy Together album, whose version was a minor hit, reaching number 31 in the US. Arthur Lee's group, Love, also recorded it that year, as did The Byrds, whose singer David Crosby had been performing the song in 1965. The Band of Joy also did a cover. These were all up-tempo renditions. The slow version that inspired Hendrix to record this came from a folk singer named Tim Rose, who played it in a slow arrangement on his 1967 debut album and issued it as a single late in 1966. Rose was a popular singer-songwriter for a short time in the Greenwich Village scene. This is the song that started it all for Hendrix. After being discharged from the US Army in 1962, he worked as a backing musician for the Isley Brothers and Little Richard. Hendrix introduced Hey Joe to the band and added it to their setlist. During a show at the Greenwich Village Club Cafe Wah, Chaz Chandler of the Animals was in the audience, and he knew instantly that Hendrix was the man to record the song. Let me read that again. Chaz Chandler of the Animals was in the audience, and he knew instantly that Hendrix was the man to record the song. Okay. Yeah, so Chaz Chandler, if I'm not mistaken, was the very, very tall, brawny bass guitarist for the Animals. I remember doing some reactions to the Animals during the British invasion, and then previously for We Gotta Get Out of This Place. And I remember reading in the bio that Hendrix did have a manager who was a member of the Animals. And I'm pretty sure that it's the the tall, brawny bass guitarist. Let me know if I'm wrong. Okay, man. So that's song fact information of Hey Joe by the Band of Joy. And yo, man, yeah, shout out again to Kinnock or Kinosh for the recommendation. Sorry to butcher your name, man. Kinoch. I don't know if you're a lady or a gent, so let me know. Let me know about that. All right, if you see this video. Yo, man, yeah, great cover. Holy cow, soulfulness in Robert Plant's voice at a tender age of 17 or 18, whatever he was, just fantastic. And one thing, my big takeaway in all of this is I was listening to the song and then starting to read through the information here, is the importance of time. When your time has arrived, you not only have to have the intuition to know that it's time to make a move and to be ready mentally, spiritually, in every way and capacity to take advantage of the opportunity when it's arrived. So thankfully, these four gents that got together and formed Led Zeppelin knew that it was time to make a move. They had the instinct and they were connected to their intuition and they followed it, even though it was, I guess now that I'm going through all of this and learning about the challenges they had and the backlashes they had, especially like with critics from Rolling Stone and stuff like that. It was an uphill struggle, but at the heart of it, they knew that they had the key to everything. They had the talent, they had the skills, they had the sound and their signature. I guess the signature being that unique sound that they had. I remember, was it someone telling a story or was I reading something? I think I was reading something where they jammed for the first time, the four of them. And the sound that they created between the four of them was something very special and very unique. And when that point of view is coming, I believe it was John Paul Jones that said it. And when that point of view is coming from a seasoned session musician like John Paul Jones, and he's saying that it created an incredible dynamic between the four of them, the sound that came forth, that is something that it's saying something, when a seasoned musician like him has that opinion. So timing, man, is the big takeaway lesson I've got from this whole thing, reading up on this. So going back in time, the Yardbirds were breaking up, and so Page was looking for something new to make a transition to something new. His Yardbirds counterparts wanted to go in a different direction. He wanted to follow more of the heavier sound being laid down from Hendrix and Cream. And at the same time, John Paul Jones was bored and he was looking to do something new and something different. And he wanted to do something musically with Page. And then it seems like Plant was in limbo at the time. I guess after in between sessions with the Band of Joy, or the contracts didn't happen or something like that. And then Bonham was a jazz musician. And I heard a crazy story about the club owner of the jazz club once telling him that he didn't have what it takes to be a great musician and to make it big, something like that. Let me know the details of that. I'm sure somebody knows. But anyways, man, my point being is that timing was very, very important here in the formation of Led Zeppelin, and to grab opportunity when it arrived, to recognize it when it shows itself. And also too, in a positive way. That's a positive example. And another example of that too is I also heard that this formation of Led Zeppelin as we know it might not have occurred. It might have included members from The Who. Now, here you go again, timing. If the I believe it was the rhythm section of The Who, if they weren't still under contract with The Who for a certain period of time, they would have been part of Led Zeppelin. So we might not have ever had the rhythm section of Jones and Bonham as part of that lineup. Can you imagine? I'm not taking anything away from John Entwistle and Keith Moon of The Who, but I know for a fact that that sound would not have been the same. The Led Zeppelin as we know it would have a different sound, and in my humble, limited knowledge opinion, I don't see it being a better sound. I don't. As great as those two musicians were, they were great for what The Who offered, but if you change the lineup of these four guys who created Led Zeppelin, the sound would be different, and it would certainly not be for the better, not in my opinion. So timing is the big takeaway lesson that I'm getting from all of this. Timing was everything, and timing is very, very important, and great, precise timing is what brought Led Zeppelin to us. With the timing element being off, we might not have had Led Zeppelin, or we might have had them in a different incarnation, which in my opinion would not have been as great as the lineup of these four. You take one of those players out of that element and the whole element of it is completely changed. I understand very much so now why they couldn't carry on without John Bonham. You take one of them out of that equation and it's completely different. So yeah, speaking of that too, man, just a quick update. I know this started off as a Band of Joy reaction, but it's really now a Led Zeppelin thing. I recently did a reaction to the Kennedy Center Honors. A lot of you gave me feedback, and yo, man, that was an excellent reaction. You finally got to the Kennedy Center Honors. Now you gotta take your ass over and check out their O2 performance. And this is with John Bonham's son. So I'm talking about the whole dynamic of the four. And a lot of you have made comments to me saying, yo, you've got to check this out because he is a chip off the old block and he did great and fantastic. I have no doubt, especially judging from his Stairway to Heaven performance that I saw. But then I had a couple of people mention to me, yo, man, remember, you're on a journey, and you're doing a chronological thing. So there's a lot of songs that they've done that you're going to hear, and it's going to throw you off a little bit. So, I sat back and I thought about that. And I think you're right. I think what I'm going to do here, man, is I'm just going to wait a while, and I'm going to first hear the studio renditions of these songs before I get to the O2 performance. I'm patient enough. I mean, so I think that's the best way, so I don't throw myself off or spoil it, so I think just listening to a little bit of reasoning and wisdom there, I'm going to hold off, just like I'm holding off with the Song Remains the Same movie soundtrack. As I hear the studio version, then I go to the movie and I check it out, like I did A Whole Lot of Love. And then immediately I went and I did a reaction to the live version from The Song Remains the Same, Whole Lot of Love. Two complementary but two different songs. But if I had done it in reverse, yeah, I can see what you mean. It would have, I don't know, maybe thrown me off a little bit. So I think I'm going to follow the advice of everyone who's telling me to hold off, okay? So just so you know what the method to my madness is, I know a lot of you are screaming at me to do the O2 reaction, but just so you know, as an update as to what I'm doing with my little timeline, I'm going to hold off for now. I really got to take all of this stuff in little bite-sized portions. I remember, you guys, I'm new to all of this, right? So I've got to really pace myself, not jump around too much, and I don't want to miss anything from the whole Led Zeppelin experience. And I really got to go through my process of dissecting because there's just so much information as to how songs are formed and the history behind the songs, what was happening at the time, and all of this sort of thing. So I know some of you are recommending that I do whole album reactions and that sort of thing, but I have a feeling that that is not the way that I should go with Led Zeppelin. And that's contrasting my whole album reactions to Pink Floyd. I knew I had to do whole album reactions for certain amount of their albums, but in Led Zeppelin's case, I think I'm gonna take it in more bite-sized portions, savor it, stretch it out, because there's three huge dynamics to Led Zeppelin that I've since discovered. One is their blues covers, their blues remakes, that is really, really blowing my head off. And as I'm discovering those, I'm sharing it with my dad. And he is just blown away because he's still got all of the old stuff from the 1920s and 30s in his head. And then he listens to this powerful, dialed up version of what he knew back in his day, and it's blowing his head off, man. I so wish that I could share his reactions with you. But he's too camera shy and he's just not allowing it. But in any case, and then the second thing about Led Zeppelin is they have what I've discovered to call far and away songs. And an example of that would be the Rain song. Well, the Rain song is more a love ballad. No Quarter is what I'm thinking of. Achilles' Last Stand. So songs like that that have that kind of a far and away kind of touch to it. And then another dimension that you guys are telling me about in this rabbit hole that I still haven't gotten to is their folksy, acoustic kind of stuff. So that's a lot of stuff to digest. So I want to really take my time with it, and so I don't miss anything and I get the full experience. And the only way to do that, I think, is to go slowly and savor every single moment and not race through anything. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I'm doing with Led Zeppelin. So I know that for a lot of you, I'm not moving fast enough, but I'm taking my sweet time because I'm savoring every moment, and this is my journey, right? So be patient with me and just go with me and enjoy the process as I'm discovering, right? Hopefully through me, you can kind of relive when you first heard the song, when you first discovered it, and you're starting to kind of get a grasp of how great Led Zeppelin is. So yeah, so beyond their commercial hits that I'm aware of, this is quite an experience. And even going back to this song, listening to their early stuff, they had all of that talent even before Led Zeppelin. Bonham had the thunder and the drums. I could have sworn I heard tripling up, and Plant, of course, man, he had all of that soul and power and passion in his singing already. Had to have been 17 or 18 there, man. Incredible. Anyway, man, I'm gonna shut up about Led Zeppelin and shut up about everything that I'm talking about right now. I've done a lot of talking. But in any case, man, I do want to explore a little bit more of the Band of Joy. If there is more stuff, let me know if there's something that I should check out. I don't know how much stuff that they recorded. It seems like they were very, very spotty. So if you guys know if there's a couple of things worth checking out and doing reactions to, let me know, all right? Okay, thanks for joining me, man. Thanks for listening to me ramble on, and I'll catch you in another reaction. Peace.